terms of how that head-to-head in May will compare to today in July.
Well, I don't think, both of these teams will be satisfied with their map pick so far in the comp. I mean, Imperial picked Dust 2 against Elevate, lost it. 9Z took on Odic a little bit earlier on today. They picked Nuke and lost it. So both teams don't have the best of track records in terms of converting their map pick so far in the comp.
We'll waste no time getting involved. 9Z are on the T-side start of their pick of Nuke, and the Julies of Vinny will look to draw out first blood as it's a quick hit up towards the upper bomb site. Lucan's good for a couple of good picks out of this one. Adam S also chimes in against No Way, No How into the bomb site for Imperial. A 2 versus 4 for Cello and SHR. Cello alone will be left out of this round. It will be a pistol win to start things off for 9Z.
Well, it tells you that they're coming in with a confident map of Nuke, but when I'm looking at it so far in this tournament and what happened in the previous best of threes, I'm thinking that it could look quite promising for Imperial. With how they looked on Nuke a little bit earlier on against Red Canids, they had an unbelievable CT side, real good momentum, really good impact, very few retakes had to come in for them. And then for 9Z, I mean, how much would they have learned from that series against Odic? I mean, they started on the T side, got themselves a 6-6 half, went into the second, and then just couldn't quite close it down. Imperial will probably look at the circumstance of where they are right now, Jay, with the fact that they've qualified to the Thunderpick World Championship closed qualifier, that they've qualified to a local LAN event. They'll look at this and say, we can get a 2-0 right here and right now, just off of the basis of the veto of Nuke and Inferno.
And a lot of potential behind them in general here. The Imperial side obviously may have been looked at as getting a 2-0 in their earlier matchup today during the first round of Stage 2. Didn't quite work out in that position against the Red Canids side, although I will say that third and final map, a hell of a blowout for them to carry over momentum with. 13-1 was how that nuke had ended. So a lot of possibilities, I think, of Imperial right now to, as you mentioned before, continue to swing forward and just punch out 9Z if they can get their way. Doesn't happen in the pistol, so conversion will be a force buy.
We look at Nuke for both of these teams, and it's an incredible track record in the last 3 months. We're talking about 7 wins and a single loss for Imperial, and then 7 wins and just 2 losses for 9Z. Both of these teams don't lose it very frequently, so because of that, everything's going to be contentious, from pistols to anti-force buys to even gun rounds. Have a focus about this scout on the outside. Try has not been given an opportunity to work anything. 9Z don't really do much with the diag smokes. They've got Max outside. Everybody else is back in towards inner at lobby.
Oh, Try. Was that straight blind for the smoke? I think he might have caught his head on the edge of it. Either way, that's a start for the Imperial side. That scout proving to be deadly today. Only rifle available for the Imperial camp. 2 SMGs from the automatic firepower of Noe and Vinny. But upgrade pistols for the other 2 members. So Imperial are going to play their cards right. And so far, they played them well.
And this is only the 5th official that SHR and Cello have played out on Nuke when it comes to joining up with the new roster. All about the timing out here from the door peak. No Way and the 5-7 can play off each other. They've got a good read on the scenario.
And Lucan finds No Way. Hasso peak will chime in as well. They check the back lines for that lobby push, and Vinny's caught off next up, down to 2 men for the Imperial side. So what was a good start for Try is going to turn into an even better execution for 9Z. Nothing that Try can do from here. A 2-0 for the South American squad.
And I do look at 9Z with the idea that they've won 9 out of their past 11 best of 3s on HLTV. They've only lost to Bestia and Flamingo. And I look at this one today, and I think for a dead team walking, could this be a run? Could this be an underdog run in which they start surprising the likes of Imperial, maybe surprise the likes of Legacy? Because everybody else, I would say, has an outsider's chance right now. Imperial and Legacy are looked at as the 2 top teams in the entire qualifier, the most likely teams that are going to be fighting for that single slot. So one good performance on a good day, could it be an upset for 9Z to finally get the 1-up?
So far, so slow. Follow-up round 3 is not going to be quite as fast-paced as previous ones have been. They're going to be wary about the Imperial side from here on. I've got a handful of deagles, but not really much outside of this buy. It's pretty much going to be an eco that leads into the rifles the next.
And watch out for Lucan on this T side for just some of the timings that he's able to exploit. Averages a 1.55 rating on Nuke in the last 3 months. That's astonishing with how successful that is.
It's quite a stat. Hasso, Pika, Martinez taking out two of the Weasel players. Third man up in heaven. Can't hit his shots, can't protect Cello. Try one of these frags. But yeah, formality around outside of that one pick here for 9Z. It's a 3-0 start on their map pick. Imperial will look to the first rifle round in the next.
You've got 3 players, a part of both organizations, that have got more than 1,000 maps played on HLTV. That's Max, Vinny, and Cello. And that's not even discussing some of the coaching staff that have had long pro careers. I mean, ZQKS, the analyst out for Imperial, he's got 930 maps on HLTV. You've got Bit, the head coach of 9Z. He used to play a part of the organization. He was very familiar with his tenure out there on playing with squads like Team 1 and NTC and Luminosity Gaming. So you've got a lot of experience in server today, and it's always nice to see them when they can butt heads in an important matchup and an important qualifier.
An important couple of frags there for Try as well, forcing the re-expense on the 9Z side and stealing an AK away for the CT squad as well. Talked about it in our last series, how important ecos can be when you focus down on just getting rifles out of the T-side hands, cripple the economy state, bring yourself some extra firepower, relieve your own investment. Allows for more potential in this one. It's just the 5 automatic weapons, no AWPs just yet for the CT side. 9Z bringing it out for Martinez though. One of the 2 players that you mentioned being rumoured to be out of the door from 9Z soon. He's a case for his next squad. Lucan making a quick case for opening frag. Cello straight down and out as he pops out of Squeaky Door. And continues to try and enable Adam S on that Galil here. The AK has the better stopping power though. Then he's going to try for the edge of smoke and lines them both up. No idea did Adam Ness know about his casualty. Lucan fell pretty quickly. 9Z will quickly make their way into the B bomb site as a result of that, trying to see if they can quickly play against the bomb plant, but they're not getting much chances here. SHR just dropped the man and gets the double onto Max. Hasso Peak a 1v4, caught off by SHR, a triple sequence. Locks in the first of Imperial.
Even SHR, I would say, is fairly unknown to the European audience. Yeah, he was most recently on SOAR, but before that he was playing on the GTZ Bulls, For the Win organization, Velox, Offset. I remember him on SOAR Youngsters. It's only been very recently in his career that he's at least had a taste of what it's like to play up at Tier 1 and to be a little bit more involved in the spotlight. And that's an incredible round from him. Really chaotic, I would say, with how Vinny got his couple of kills, and especially how SHR was able to drop the bomb and put pressure onto Martinez down there in the lower corridors after the van.
Imperial locking in this opening start and hoping that this stance will carry on. A CT side that really work up from this position with the nature of the money not being there for the 9Z camp. There's no savings in reserves here. Contrast that to Imperial several thousand and a little bit of a better backing for that CT squad if they so decide to use it.
You've got Max just scaling on the outside now. Vinny's not spamming. There's no secret player. He's keeping his eyes out towards the AC in the heaven just in case there is a peek. Break to the smoke, a slight opportunity to spam back and forth, undoing damage, but Try gets a 1-for-1 trade and now knows that it's heavy down towards the lower bomb site. Now this time around they've got no way here at lower, unlike the last round where they didn't have anyone here.
Spray through on that AK, take down Hasso Peak, so follow up from Cello. Needs only 2 players on the 9Z side. They're not getting a bomb plan out of this one. Effectively swamped by the Imperial camp, getting the reset they're looking for. Second to the Imperial board as they start to stack on these rounds.
Yeah, good work from No Way out there towards the observation door, or the single door, to create that crossfire between SHR on the off of the mini ramp position where he can play from the observation window. With that, No Way played in ESL Pro League Season 19 and Season 20 with Imperial. He'd love the opportunity to have a run here in Season 22.
Well, likelihood does favour Imperial in this bracket, let alone this matchup. Talk about tournament favourites, and they are in that conversation, well and truly a limited conversation at that.
Well, let's have a conversation about the rumors. 5 days ago, HLTV put out an article. 9Z were replacing 2 players. Martinez, Adam S gone. Levy and Urban O from W7M is supposed to be coming out. So what do we think about that? Is it a dead team walking? Is it just pressure off for the players? It's very difficult when you read something like that and then see the squad participating with the older roster in a really important qualifier, which could be the decision whether you get a single Tier 1 event in 2025.
Well, look, I'm not going to go against the logic of the Tier 1 analysts because they leveled that exact criticism against Falcons during the major. And I'll have to say for 9Z, if that's the case right here, then if it's true, then, well, I wouldn't be shocked if there was some very dire moments out of them. Fortunately, in the early stages of the competition, it hasn't quite affected them. The reasons for that change obviously not clear. All we know is a report from Dust2, and I will say that when it comes to rumors, Dust2.br is probably one of the, Dust2 in general, I say, is probably the better. It's definitely the better in terms of accuracy.
Yeah, it definitely is a conversation, and it might just be 9Z didn't make the major. It's as simple as that. They weren't in a position to go up the ranking. I mean, they're outside of the top 50 on VRS. Just not satisfied. This is a squad that's been to a lot of LAN tournaments, a squad that's been very successful when it comes to last year. And we know that Imperial kind of had the same sort of conversation. They were disappointed with what happened at the major. They tried to level up the roster.
Vinny and Hasso P going back and forth. 9Z trying to pick up the pace here in towards round 7, and Max look to stick around for a little bit longer, stick around in this round. Away on the defensive position. He's flanking. He's going to catch potentially 3 kills out of this, only the 2. Hasso P gets brought into a 2v2. Gonna try and take that bomb to regroup with Luke and go back up to upper. Rotations from Imperial here will be slow, although SHR was so close to catching that contact.
It's a tough position to be in because SHR's got to be wary about rotating up into the vents. At least Try can pull a bit of distraction out from Heaven, and SHR has been able to get up undetected.
Position drawn towards Heaven. Lucan's going to get that kill. Orp of Try. All that's left in the clutch here. A fake flash with the USP. Scored the info onto Hasso Peak, trying to bait Lucan into a peek, but he doesn't end up doing so. It's a nice effort using all the resources that you had, but none of it turns towards your favour. 9Z will reclaim the lead.
That's an excellent effort there from No Way, because you could see it. I think, unfortunately for Cello, there's a little bit of inaccuracy because he gets out of the vent and he drops down, but he should be getting at least 1 there. Looking at the position that he's in, the T-side player crossing out to the left-hand side, that should be a 1-for-1 trade, and it meant that No Way probably needs to step up more than required just to try and recover that round. This is back and forth. Either squad is hitting the economy quite hard at the moment. I mean, we're not seeing perfect buys from either team.
SHR going to try and hold a perfect defensive, or at least some sort of defensive at the very least. They allow them to break through. 1 kill found, 2nd kill goes come through, but Lucan and LMS's trade is going to maintain the man advantage. Keep it an even 3-on-3.
It's a solid ramp hold. That was uncomfortable. The reposition, the utility usage, for him to get 2, he's done well. But now it's about the A-side player, because Vinny is not looking out towards the hut, and the timing is not against him.
Lucan takes him back. Cello and Try. Do they clutch or do they save? With Try being back at CT spawn, seems like the call is save. No rotation rip from Cello. You can't see an avenue to clutch, so a 5th for the 9Z camp as they start to really ramp up their rounds. Trying to prove that these recent rumors are not going to affect their performances, although I will say that to continue on that little point of thinking, Dwayne, why announce it now and why not do this during the player break? Why not make those changes when everyone else is? It's the next big question on the forefront of my mind.
It's a very good point. You would certainly think that that would have been the safer option for everybody's sake. But look, sometimes it's got to come out at any time. And, well, I mean, especially for the saving Orpa of Try, this is going to be an important game for him because he's going up against his old organization. You think back to when he played on 9Z, I mean, him and Max, they played nearly 400 maps together on HLTV from February 2020 to January of 2022, and then again from January of 2023 to October of that year. And they played at IEM Rio, IEM Dallas, they played at ESL Pro League Season 18. You've got a different looking 9Z roster definitely now in the current day of 2025 than what it was back then, but anytime you get an opportunity to go up against your old organization, who gave you a chance, because that was Try's first pro team. That was his first crack at the next level of competition.
Remember it well, one of those 9Z Academy sort of breakthrough prospects, the cultivated homegrown talent, if you will. Spent most of his playing career with this organization that he takes on today. Last year with Imperial, trying to rise into new heights and bring a new chapter within his own career. Maybe it's paying off in the long term. Gonna make it pay off in the here and now against those old rivalries, against those old pastures. Cello and No Way doing well against said pastures. 2 kills quickly against the upper execution from 9Z. Stalled out by counter utility. Blind sprays can only do so much. Cello will burn that Molotov. The spread's quite far, I will say. But No Way instantly answers back with that SMG kill from beyond the smoke. Adam S is wary about Rafter's presence, which HSR is going to confirm, drive him back even further here. 2-man advantage for Imperial.
And it's lovely to see Cello back in with the organization of Imperial, because he used to play there when it was the bit more of the veterans roster. He brings a lot of experience, and we see the timing of the HE out there towards door. Now how easy the collapse of the round is. Try just needs to make sure that he gets a good timing, that he doesn't quite overpeak, doesn't give Martinez a freebie. All about that last little exit frag. No Way will not drop, so it's a 4th round in for Imperial. And just consider this for a moment. Cello has just joined recently, and yet he's the 2nd most experienced player on the roster instantly. You bring him in, and him and Vinny are the 2 guys that you look at the most. You look at Try, you look at No Way, and you look at SHR. They're the young rookies. They're the guys that are still quite new towards the pro level of their career.
I still remember the time when Cello was but a young rookie himself. He was in that post... SK Luminosity team that we mentioned earlier on from some of the other players involved in today. He was also part of that.
Well, the one that I remember the most from Cello was probably that Boom roster, which I think was around the COVID era or just before it. And that was when they were doing really well. You had sort of Bolts out there for a little bit. You had, I think Henny was on that team too. You had a lot of successful few months tournament placements. That's what I remember the most, I would say, around that era from Cello.
I think people will be more familiar with his time on Furia, though, or he was competing at some of the big events.
Yeah.
IMs, the WCs, the Compass events as well. A very tenured individual. And again, looking to start a new chapter within his career within the Imperial organization. Try an SHR, do well enough. You know, this half line. And speaking of new chapters, I mean, talk about SHR and him playing on SOAR earlier on this year. That's short tenure, which I have to say was a trial by fire, going from ESCA main straight to IEM Katowice. Like,
yeah,
you know, throw him into the deep end with a weight tied around his ankle. Like, that's quite a challenge and a task.
Well, I think we've seen a lot of Spanish and Portuguese players over the last few years make the move to North America, South America. I remember when Mixwell did it. I think back to even Martinez. I mean, I remember when he was on Movistar Riders playing in Europe for quite a while. But yeah, he's been in South America for a good 18 months or so now.
Spanish and Portuguese speaking connections sometimes can give you that cross-regionality. SHR looking to get quite bold as he crosses the threshold of T and CT map control, gets straight in against Martinez, just taps her in the side of the head and gets out of there. Doesn't want to get greedy, it's a smart play. A 5-on-4 advantage for Imperial that remains.
You've got Vinny just searching out here in secret, but he doesn't need to extend the marker because Try is holding his cross with the big green at the moment. They're getting just suffocated on the outside. Now, the Diag smokes come in. The Orb can still see, though.
Well-placed nade on Vinny, and he takes that damage right back from Max. Try and get ahead here. The smokes are in the way of his vision, so we can't see these T-side players that are crossing. Although those smokes are about to fade, they've just about made it past the marker. And Try's going to sit here in the corner. Max is going to check it. And just about adjusts away back in time to get the kill onto Vinny, making a 4v4. No HP for Max, though. Might come some easy kills for SHR if he's prepared for it. They might have heard his footsteps, though. Max will move forward into Dart. Checks the angle, gets the kill. No way takes Hasso Peak out, though. So Max remains 20 seconds on the clock. The bomb is just being picked up, but dropped again by No Way. His second kill, a very important one. Adam S is forced to fight. He takes it back to evens again. Lucan's getting suppressed. He's playing distraction, but that AWPer here downstairs, ready to deny. Adam S has to go for the bomb plant, and Try just denies him, gets the hell away from Lucan's contact angles, because that will be enough to win the round. A 6th off timer for Imperial.
Yeah, this has just been a back and forth game where both teams haven't given themselves much of a likelihood of continuing streaks of rounds, getting mass momentum involved. And even there, down towards a lower bomb site, some just good time stalling overall. Yes, SHR doesn't quite find impact, but the way that he sets up No Way on the cross, how they get the AWP down in the lower corridors quite easily. Top site lurk from Lucan is struggling with that duel towards Hut. That makes it awkward for him to drop in the vent. Even the buy state for the T is awful for round 12.
Or trying to take a shot to Try, doesn't quite find him. Max is Mac 10, leans up first and foremost. Molotovs are sent. He's trying to fight onto that locker room, but not able to do so. Meanwhile, on the upper bomb site, Try and SHR dealing with those quick pushes from 9Z as well towards ramp. Two players trying to fight, but no one's being seen. SHR again going to get aggressive. Shadow's also pushed on already towards lobby. Hasso Peak is back. He's turned Imperial, just bullying 9Z now. This broken by for the last round of the half. It should turn a half advantage for the Imperial camp. This Mac 10 can at least upgrade to a rifle, grab that bomb. That is 3 more kills to try and isolate. The crossfire's already locked in.
You're in a position where no one is over-facing. He's hoping that there's a door walk. He's hoping that there's an extension. And while No Way is making sound, they're still not giving anything. This is really good discipline from Imperial.
They're going to try. Swings up and force the man to take a miss. There's a tiny amount of damage. Eventually gets that kill in. Smoke actually provides some cover for the reload, so he can also escape the ire of No Way. Trying to fake out the idea he's going for a big old wrap, but Imperial know that he hasn't got time for that. Well, unless he runs and makes a ton of noise. It's timing against the No Way part. And he leans in and gets caught by the CT player. 7-5 at the turn. Not quite as dominant, but still in favour of Imperial. 2 rounds separate the two squads. Imperial lead going into the T side. 9Z and a great little bit of job on their T half thus far. Well, their defensive show enough to win their map pick.
Well, at the moment, it's not really showing us much between the two teams, Joe. I don't think it's giving us an idea on who's going to win this map. It looks as if it could go down to the wire. Try on the outside with the P250 and Armor just scaling at the moment. And with an opening kill, he's hugging the edge of the smoke against the CT. Does get caught, but they don't know about Vinny.
SFP can follow up on the bump site as well. Max with 2 kills. Vinny taps him into the back of the head, but needs to get all sorts of kills simultaneously. They surround the situation, and 9Z quickly put down Imperial. It was a good start from Trotter. I'm pretty sure he got the one tap without P250, but not enough to win the round there from Imperial. Overwhelmed as soon as 9Z got them to act together, and without the bomb plant bonus, Imperial won't have much to force to buy. They're going to do it anyway.
Well, they get themselves in a position where none of the A players are successful, are they? You get Try on the outside that gets one. Vinny then gets another from main. Out from Hut, they just get obliterated by that Julie that's on top. And Try's going in for a scout with Armor. Everybody else going into Glocks and a couple of P250s.
RMS heard that tag, so he can deal with 1 and 2. Martinez also going to chime in. Easy pickings against these pistols and Try getting little impact for that scout investment. Hero weapon with no support around it. Imperial will be equalized against. They will also have their first gun buy of the half.
You're now in a position, if you are Imperial, where you just need to start putting your foot down a little bit more on this T side. I mean, 51.2 round win percentage in the last 3 months. And know that they're going to be very critical with the newer players in with the roster, get them familiar with the overall systems. I mean, when I look at the map pool, we've at least seen Cello and SHR play a little bit of Dust 2, play a bit of Inferno, a bit of Nuke. It's Train, Mirage, and the likes of Anubis where they've played basically the least amount of maps out of the entire pool.
Straight thinks onto SHR to kick things off for the CT side. 9Z will work down even more damage on Vinny. SHR took even more tags towards the outside, so 9Z is starting to win these gunfights pretty consistently. Flashbang forward as Lukin tries to take some leaves out of the playbooks of Imperial. Straight aggression in towards lobby and ramp. 5 on 3. SHR still being low. Almost makes it a 5 on 2 for 9Z.
It's an excellent play. That's really creative to go in for a pop flash through a smoke. And then the targetization, when you pull distraction and you get an opening kill towards ramp, you get players turning the other way. You get distraction being pulled, and that allowed the Hut push to come in. Very gimmicky, but very well done with the util basage. And now for Imperial, I mean, you just got nothing in this round. The best you can hope for is a couple of exit kills at most.
Try and SHR, now just Try alone. Tag 9, of course, we brought into the scout. AK in the hands, and Max picked up from his quick backstab shot out of Secret. He gets a 3K overall in the round. 9Z have taken control.
And when I look at the overall position from 9Z, the current 6-game winning streak from them, you look a little deeper and you go, do you know what? There's quite a few 2-0s in there. The 2-0 versus Keydstars, a Furia FE, Odic, Bounty Hunters. The only time that they've been pressed to 3 maps has been against the Red Canids and against Odic. Now that series a bit earlier on today, they probably should have closed down the last map a lot earlier. They had a 9-3 half on Inferno, and yet it went all rounds in regulation.
Always something to think about when we go to Inferno a little bit later on in this series. Picked in by Imperial, of course. Is that truck all the way back or come back, something that can be replicated by the opposition in this context? May well find out when time comes. For now, it seems like 9Z have taken the dominance that Imperial showed at certain times during that first half and applied it to their own game plan and come out very good for it and all. Only damage in this round has been done to Lucan and Martinez. Both players are alive. RMS making some back towards Try. Cello trying to go for a big old flank, but now he's lost his teammates and lost the bomb. He's got no leverage.
Nah, nothing at all. This has been a really tidy start to the second half from the CTs. Not only are they not dropping many players on these lighter buys, but they're keeping the mass AKs, and that's what you want going into the gun rounds.
RMS picks up the last 9-7 with the scoreline for the 9Z camp. Imperial yet to start on T side. Second tactical called in by the Brazilian squad. Need to figure out a new game plan. Need to figure out a new answer to what 9Z are doing, because things are looking particularly provision for them.
A little bit of history for the analyst right now of Imperial, ZQKS. He played in EPL Season 5 with one of the worst track records in history. 1 win and 23 losses when he was playing for a squad called the Foundation that basically got dropped by the organization of Selfless back in the day.
And that must have been like...
It would have been early 2017, so on the roster...
Yeah, it's like season 4, 5, maybe 6.
Season 5.
Okay, so season 5, yeah, so... Alright, quite a veteran.
CJ the King, MCE, Caboose, some of the old guard players.
Remember correctly, he was also on a roster in season 1 or 2 that I think made the finals, the LAN finals, back when it was like the online league play into a LAN finals.
No, only played season 5 and 6.
Maybe thinking of something else then, maybe a different league at the time. There was quite a few pro leagues going around back in 2015.
Well, you
had to look into that.
I was going to say you've got ESL Pro League, but in terms of the actual pro league beginnings, it
kind of bled in from season 3 to ESL Pro League, so I would count that.
Okay.
I would count that. I think if you track the lineage, you probably see that the teams that are invited to season 3 came from season 2 of ESL ESEA Pro League.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of veterans in both of these rosters. I mean, I even look at Max. I mean, he played in ESL Pro League Season 9 and Season 10 with Isurus. And I remember at the time, they were quite well known in the local scene. Played Season 18 and Season 20 with the 9Z organization most recently. Yeah, Isurus, in terms of Argentinian Counter-Strike with some of the Uruguayan players, was quite the name, quite the organization back then.
Himself quite a player in the context of this 9Z squad, because he's kind of the cornerstone of the roster, isn't he? He's been around for about over 4 years now.
Well, 26th of February is when he joined, so...
In 2020.
We're talking a long time. Nearly 5.5 years? Yeah, that's not a bad tenure.
Captain in more than just the role. Let's see whether he can apply that tenure into this series, take revenge and return onto the Imperial side. I did back during the LAN event. We talked about that one head-to-head on record between the two teams. This time to make progress in the Pro League qualifier. 7-9 is the current scoreline for 9Z again. Imperial looking for their first T-side round here. Another concession may well lead to the end of the map if things are not careful. We're looking at potentially 11-7 if 9Z can continue momentum.
SHR gets a nice little opener on the outside, just trying to prod out there from the top of the silo. Vinny then gets an inner kill. And you find within the first 30 seconds of the round, it's just a pure collapse. Now the CTs keep prodding, they keep pressing this lobby crunch because they've got no other option.
Great shot for Vinny. Max goes down. No way he's picked up the same. 4v2 situation. Imperial again tracked up by Luke, who tries to generate some sort of return, but Martinez is all alone with that one-for-one trade there by Cello's part. Heard that player outside of the lobby, but he's not going to come in through lobby. He's going to make his way in through mini. The chance for Martinez to try and drop the bomb carrier, but 2 players to peek him. Imperial will hold their nerve. They're their 8th, their first of the T side.
Lucan's playing very well right now, but even with a couple of kills, it wasn't enough to redeem the round. And I look at him as a guy that is now playing his 3rd time a part of the organization. He was on Furious, went over to 9Z, got kicked, went over to Sharks, came back, got kicked again, went to Bestia, and has now returned for that 3rd tenure. And that's something that I would assume that happens quite frequently with some of the local teams, is that you sort of go because they're not quite what you need, but then as the rotation door comes in, you often recycle. Spam on the outside as Max just falls. Cello couldn't see a single thing there.
Martinez orb straight onto Vinny will start things off for the CT side return. Got that first kill for Cello though, so it's still a 4-on-4. LMS Can't see anything beyond these smokes. They start to clear, but still no vision. They've already made their way in towards Secret, and Lucan is going to catch at least the backline player, so no way get cleaned up. The other three are still in play down here at the corridors, and there is no main rotation from 9Z. Got a player in ramp that will rotate when noise is heard.
And Martinez has only got the AWP though, so he probably won't be too wide up on the angle. He'll be quite happy to throw a flashbang, wait for rotations to come either on the vent drop or out from Secret. You just play the man up here. Now Try is going to molly, and then they're going to open up the double doors and get the bomb down straight away. They're just going to try and slow the CTs on rotate.
Well, the molly will telegraph what's going on here for the Imperial side. Try is going to put that bomb down.
They need a kill. They can't just sit back and play defensively here. They've got to either try and retake ramp or at least retake the single door. Try and put emphasis on the Secret rotation.
Being real slow about these rotations, though. Only now Adam S is looking to join Martinez, not give away the information. Hasselpeak making noise over the Secret, drawing out a nade. So we're aware of one player towards Decon corridor. Cello from double door corridor gets the kill against the man. Try and Cello continue to chime in against each other. Lucan's all alone. As great as he's been, this is a bridge too far in terms of the clutch. Imperial will even the board.
And well done to Cello. And you look at him, I mean, he's played 11 seasons of ESL Pro League, all the way back to season 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. That's quite a streak to try and make it happen into 22. And this is a guy that's got a lot of experience under his belt, and even though he's reuniting with the likes of Vinny, it's still very early on. This is what, his third tournament, him and SHR, since they've rejoined up.
To his credit, he's done pretty well in those tournaments that he's had. On the pick event was the first place, of course, did well in that Circuit Toe qualifier. Dominant results over the course of the Pro League qualifier as well. They've started off again with Vinny chiming in. First frag against him, try to follow it up. Hasselpeak trying to maintain this defensive line at ramp, but not going to work out for him on a solo mission. No trade potential for 9Z in that circumstance, so Adam S and Martinez to fight for their careers at this stage, 2v4.
Just starting to get a good feel with this T side, aren't they? Vidi is going to, unfortunately, miss the timing against the AWPer that escapes up there towards the T roof.
Oh, I think he just caught a pixel of him. Yeah, he knows. I'm going to get the best timing against the man, though. Martinez might get caught by other individuals. But only barely. Martinez only barely seeing the man. He gets caught with no weapon in hand. So literally a pixel's worth of info. Loses the AWP for the 9Z side. And with the money being where it is, that's not a good look. Not even better as well than Imperial going to take the lead back.
I even look at Adam S and I think, well, what's his future? Is he going to go back towards Europe? Because this is a guy that played in that whole Iberian family, Movistar Riders, Koi, Iberian Soul now mix for a very long time. A lot of different iterations of that squad. Had a little stint playing with the Romanians of Zello and BTN out there on Nexus. Had an even briefer stint helping out the Fnatic Rising organization. But this is his first move to South America. Hasn't been here previously.
He speaks Spanish, right? Like he speaks that kind of language because he's been on literally a bunch of Iberian projects in the past. So it wouldn't be impossible for him to stay in South America.
Just depends on what offers you get. I mean, right now there's a lot of squads in this region that are making changes. A lot of them, even in this closed qualifier, making changes just before the first games.
I'll say that Adam S is quite a talent. Could find quite a lot of use out of him from any teams that maybe may or may not be interested. Adam S will try his best to fight on with the hero rifle in this round, unfortunately. Only goes so far as that one opening kill against SHR. Vinny's going to take him right back. And even though he's tagged low, the USPs, 5.7s and Eagles really don't have enough behind them to try and steal around unless there's some serious unchecked positions and lazy responsives from Imperial.
Yeah, they look so structured on their T side, even against the lightened buys. There's no aggression. It's pack and group. It's good utility usage. one player down here towards lower of Hasso Peak. I mean, he might be able to get one. He shouldn't get any more.
Looks away at the wrong moment as well. Try it. Quick head shot. And that is the B side. Basically under Imperial control. Not even Max wants to stick around and try to get some exits. Grab the AK at least from the top end of that silo. Keep that one weapon in against the Imperial side.
This streak's just getting out of control, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this was a 9-7 scoreline at one point. It's now 4 in a row for Imperial. So there's a lot of importance that can come in this next gun round. I mean, even for Hasso Peak, the Chilean player, he's came through from 9Z Academy. He's been about the main team for about 18 months or so. He's only qualified to Pro League once, and that was back in Season 20. So the idea that you've got to take down a top dog of Imperial, especially on your map pick, it's about stepping up to the occasion. It's about getting yourself into that upper bracket final, making that chance and that run to first place even easier.
Two rounds for the good on the Imperial camp. 9Z facing a lot of very heavy aggression from No Way and Co. And down there makes it work. He plays that orbit to make a mistake. He doesn't miss the second chance though. No Way just about catches him off guard. Martinez forced to take an O-scope and it doesn't connect for him. Vinny and No Way being tagged though. This 4-on-4 gets even better for the 9Z side until No Way continues to frag at 22 points of health. He's being a major thorn in the side of 9Z at credit card. Meanwhile, downstairs on the B bomb side, Lucan's getting tested, and SHR is going to take him down. So 2-man advantage. Even if No Way goes falling, they'll have everything they need to win the round on the Imperial side. 9Z. Oh, you mentioned how important this round was going to be for their campaign. And they have completely lost it. They might even lose these rifles still.
Just got beaten by pace on the outside, didn't they? That was so much quicker than what we've seen previously. And I've got to be honest, out of the last two best of threes, Jay, that may be one of the sickest kills that you'll see all day from No Way. The idea that you are trapped in credit, you've been HE'd down to red HP, you can't do anything except fight your way out of trouble, and you hit a clothesline shot against the main player. That was difficult, and he made it look easy. Hasso Peak and Adam S are doing everything to try and hold on to the weapons, but it looks unlikely. Adam S now has got to try and turn away from the util. Completely blinded. That's an excellent hunt. A great round there from Imperial. And what a T-side this has been. What a streak this has been from them. And it's made even Lucan, who's played very well in the first half and even in the second half. I mean, he got nothing on that lower bomb site. He got baited out on the observation window peak completely.
Yeah. Making them look like fools, Imperial. What a map up this is going to turn out to be, because a 5-round streak. I'm expecting it to go to 6.
Not even a
9Z. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say 9Z haven't even taken the chance to rethink the approach or to try and find some sort of pocket strat with 2 SMGs. Of course, they have those 2 SMGs because they lost the 2 rifles at the end of that round. So just to show exactly how impactful that hunt was from the Imperial side.
Yeah, this is a round where you just default. You don't get too gimmicky here if you're an Imperial. You know that the buy state's weak, so you don't want to be up against any sort of unorthodox boost or a play up towards ramp. If you just search on the outside and you play it quite simple and pack heavy, it's basically a done deal. And Martinez is hoping for the main split. Adam S is going to try and search out here from Secret, but he's got no flashbang from the Heaven player, so there's not much that you can do on this peak.
Martinez stands by, barely able to receive SHR, the edge of that smoke. Lucan turns away from a flashbang, undetected as of yet. He's right past, his teammate's going to run right into this, but he does strike to at least take Vinny back down. Not wary of No Way though. 3-on-3 as a result.
Still plenty of time. They've got options to go Hell, to go down towards B, to regroup back into lobby. Hasso Peak out here towards Mustang could be a particular player that is of intrigue, just because it hasn't been held previously.
Not sure where to look. Gets caught on the jump. Dead to the hands of Tri. Cello caught another one on the inner bomb site, the upper bomb site. Hasso Peak Catches that bomb carrier, 15 seconds. If he gets his second kill, he might be in with a chance. HE sent towards heaven. That might catch off No Way, do some damage, but not try and actually get the kill against him. He's stalled for time though. Could get sandwiched. 4 seconds. Plant is just going to come down in time. Hasso Peak forced to strike. Takes the man. Second one doesn't fall. No Way clutches it up for Imperial. And it's a 6-round streak to close out map 1 of Nuke.
What an excellent showing from a T-side line, and when you consider that it's still quite early days of getting SHR familiar with the system, getting the likes of Cello familiar with the calling of Vinny in the current era, they look composed. T-side of Nuke is not easy for a new squad, and I think they kept it really basic. They had some good adaptations in terms of pace. We had some quicker rounds, some really slow ones. And just across the board, they made 9Z feel...
In terms of this competition, in terms of where his sort of level of performance is lining up, right? It is home territory on Nuke, of course, for the side, but for the 9Z side. But just for Cello to do as well as he's doing, I mean, it's already working well, and he's only been signed for like 17 days or so. So there's a lot of positivity just in that particular side of things alone. But I think just in general, the whole team was playing like a well-oiled machine, honestly.
And it makes sense. I mean, they have won 11 out of their past 13 best of threes on HLTV. They've only lost to Legacy and the XW7M roster. I look at even how they performed at the major itself. I mean, they narrowly lost out to Bait, narrowly lost out to the Mega. They trashed the likes of Metasport and then probably should have been able to beat the likes of Legacy. They went on for a really good run. So even with the core, they still made it to the major and they still tested teams at the tier 1 level.
And they're making moves to try and see if they can, in the overarching side of things, try and make a bit of a deeper run of the major. Clearly, Imperial are well on track to do that in the early portions of the season. All they have to do is continue to make light work of the likes of 9Z. Early pistol, second map. Already started off to the favor of 9Z as Lucan will draw first blood against SHR.
Imperial could be running into a bit of a trap out here in the brackets if they don't use their util correctly, especially with the Julies. I mean, close range, this could be a double kill.
Mess, not even required. He's smoked off. He does peek in. Hasso Peak gets 2 kills instead, and Martinez indeed will spam down the last couple of individuals. And 9Z will make light work of the pistol instead.
Now, Hasso Peak coming into this series is currently the 3rd highest rated player in the tournament. So a guy that's been able to put up a lot of impact in that series versus the Bounty Hunters against the Otic organization. You've also got Try, that's the 2nd highest rated player in the tournament. Had a really good series against Elevate and against the Red Canid. So I'm looking at those 2 players in particular, especially after map 1, to see what their map 2 performance is going to look like. Imperial didn't get close towards the bomb site, didn't get close to a single kill, so very light on the investment. A single deagle, and that's it.
Well, plus a Zeus as well for Vinny, if you want to count that and all.
And the No Way one.
Yeah, that too. There you go. 3 upgrades. One of which has already gone to waste. Nothing in by Vinny there to the broken, or the broken wall, the half wall over a banana. Martinez will start to farm some cash from the SMG here. Formality overall for the 9Z side. Imperial just want to make sure they don't go down towards the SMGs. No Way's found a line in towards the bomb site. If only had the bomb with him and try and sneak in that plant and get a little bit of extra cash. Now it's been seen there to the apartments. They'll ensure that that does not become a viable objective. So Peak does deal with both of them. All's end as well for 9Z, 2-0.
Yeah, the head coach of 9Z, Bit, we know that he was previously a pro player. Him and Cello were actually teammates on the NTC tag way back in April of 2018 to July of that year. They went to ESL 1 Belo Horizonte, also went to the or the Americas minor, I should say, for the London major in 2018.
Again, looking at all that experience. Ooh, just catching No Way off guard there in the bedroom, but doesn't get away with his life. Martinez strikes first on the kill counts, but Cello quickly to return. A 4-on-4, catching that man off guard. Now they've got apps access and control because Adam S is not challenging it.
I will say I like the positivity that I'm seeing from the City side. The advantages being pushed in aggressive moves. They're confident to making those extensions. Not frequently do we see plays into bedroom down towards the second mid, and while Hasso Peak doesn't get much out of it, I think it sends a pretty good message. It sends a good mindset on how they want to play in this first half. And Martinez out here on B can take a shot and then just deploy util, try and stall the T-side players.
Max is on the way in. Martinez, the first port of call, flash banged off, takes a shot immediately, backs away. Counter incendiaries are there to stall for time, get that second player in position. Re-smoke to the CT cross. Martinez and Max up the task. Martinez strikes. No way goes down. Can they trade out the SMG at point blank? Yes, they can. Smash away, taking Martinez pinned in the corner and will get overwhelmed soon enough. 3 on 2. Couldn't get the kill from beyond that smoke. Vinny left alive at 14 HP to plant that bomb. Adam S and Lukin are out of there.
Well, you feel for Martinez because he needs to get more help. He needs more assistance from Max that's trying to work on the edge of that coffin smoke. But right there, Martinez has been able to try and stall for time. He's repositioning. He's getting himself out towards dark. He gets himself a secondary kill. He just needs Max to get one. As long as one kill comes in, then that retake is going to be attempted. But it doesn't happen. Imperial, I mean, they make it tough for the AWPer, don't they? They keep jiggling. And then as soon as you're in that position and you get baited, you are basically a done-up. Imperial made their first happen. Not an easy round at all. Good work from the AWP. And I wonder now, I mean, you look at where the money sits. Hasso Peak up towards 4,800. There'll be another rebuy, but it could be a couple of rounds until Martinez gets that big green back in his hands.
That's the play on the automatic M4 alongside the rest of his teammates. SMG for Max being the weakened weapon. Imperial also with majority of automatics, but with an AWP on try. Get to frag alongside SHR. Vinny going to be the forward man here at Banana. Imperial hand finds it, but that matter. Point blank sprays. Vinny's going to avoid the death. He will see his man for a chance to get the kill to open up. SHR's forced to get him in return. Lucan's taking quite a lot of damage to the utility of the T side. As they back away beyond that smoke, they will not take any contact. It will fade, and Lucan does not stick around to spot them. Adam S will repeat. The AK engages from Try. Damage is done in return, though. It forces both sides to respect the utility and maintain a 4-on-4.
Yeah, it's been brutal out here towards Banana for both squads. There's been so much util, so much spam. Eventually, you can just relax for a little bit. Bit of respect being offered now from the CT line. You allow Adam S to pick up some of that util that was dropped out towards spawn. You've got a bit of a rotator of Lucan. They might feel, because they don't have a huge amount of util left, and that there's a low HP Lucan, that they need to gamble stack. And as of right now, you got 2 players towards A, but I wouldn't be surprised if they rotate a 3rd player over towards B or a 3rd player to A.
So Peak, Martinez start to hold the defensive line, and they're instantly domed in by the Imperial offenders. Bomb plant secured. Adam S and Lucan again caught away from the site plant. Will start to upgrade their weapons. Their players, Vinny and Try. There's no way they're going to get any way back into the round. Imperial, even the board.
Now, even for Vinny, he's got to be hungry to get back towards a Pro League, because he played a lot of Pro League seasons with Furia. You think back to season 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, had a little bit of a streak there, and then over with Imperial from 17, 18, 19, and 20. Crazy to think that he's been a part of Imperial now for nearly 3.5 years. I mean, when I think of Furia, even still, I think of the original roster that was there, even with Abel J, that not a lot of people will remember now. But that was just such a long-standing roster, especially the core, that when it eventually split up, I mean, Vinny has very much played on Furia Imperial, and that's it. That's his entire pro career.
Strictly speaking, there were a couple of other projects prior and since that point, but in terms of the projects which he's basically been best known for and the project he's been most successful with, yeah, you're right. These two organizations are tied to his legacy in general. Was that a collateral tag?
No, that was the util damage of the HEs towards Banana.
I was just thinking, I can't That doesn't seem all that right, but it works well for 9Z. Slight advantage. They even get another HE into the apartments where Cello and No Way will tank that down to half HP for them, 60 HP for Try and SHR. So a lot of missing health for Imperial.
Very defensive setup out here towards brackets. No one on the short side, meaning that Hasso with the MP9 has to kind of give that area up. Haven't been able to retake Banana either on the CT line. Very light on the util.
Great back against No Way. Goes down pretty easily to Hasso Peak's MP9. Enjoy that range game while you got him, my friend. It's not going to last forever. Adam S flashbanged off. But he goes at the cubby corner. Strikes against only one. Cello gets away at 5 points of health. Might charge right into Max, though, who'll trade him. Look back in for the second round of it. That's the ball on his back, but he does get the returning frag. 30 seconds to deal with Hasso Peak. His SMG started off the round with the kill counts. Sees a gun barrel. He knows that the player out there. And away to the second. Vinny's nowhere near supporting Try. Hasso Peak fighting from range. Gets his kill. Vinny now on site. Bomb plant secured. No faking. Try and force him to make the move. Force Hasso Peak to take the aggression. He'll do well with that aggression. At 1 point of health. He secures his triple. And secures 3 rounds for 9Z.
Now, Hasso Peak, the highest rated player on Inferno for the 9Z organization in the last 3 months, averaging a 1.32. Not easy when you're an apps player. The heavy anchor on the bomb site. Your job is to stay alive, waste a lot of time, always wait for reinforcements. But right there on the MP9, he's completely alone. And for Imperial, considering that they didn't check that cubby quarter, I think that round has gone pretty well for them. Because that should have just been a complete shutdown with the AWP rotating in, with the M4 being tucked. And Vinny should not have even had an opportunity to turn around 180 and get that kill.
Not at all. Kills on to Vinny. Will take in the star for Max. Mac 10 in for SHR. Takes Lucan on the return with no damage traded. Imperial blocked out of the side by utility. I think I actually missed smoke there from Max. Mac 10's going to get ahead of the game, but doesn't quite work out for him. Cello, while beyond that smoke, will take Max down. Trying his AWP. Will do it. Martinez, Adam S undetected as he staggers his approach from Noob Box. Turns it into a 2v2 with a kill on Cello.
And now with the retaking util that's going down from the CT side, it's driving the T's elsewhere. And for Hasso Peak, he might be out of position and where he was in the last round, but this is still an AK and 100 HP. It's about timing on whether he can repause and not get caught on the side.
And he's got Adam S inbound. They're going to try and lay heavy towards A, thinking that Imperial have forced the rotation thanks to his defensive and utility. Maybe on the support. No one's watching. No, someone is watching. Excuse me. No way ready to receive. Adam S goes down. Now they know the B side must be opened up for it. Hasso Peak plays A. A plant on B with no resistance, and it looks like this AK is going to try his hand at some sort of prod of a retake. The AWPer is ready to receive him though. Bomb plant secured. No chance to deny. Try. He's been set past the sandbags. Lands on Hasso Peak. Didn't expect him to be that far extended, so Imperial equalise again.
I had to go for that 1v2. You know the economy shattered. You know that you're going to be double ecoing buying anyway, so you give yourself the crack of the 1v2. That was a real puggish round from Imperial, catching some really weird timings. I mean, SHR, it was greedy to go for that refrag after his teammate had fallen. And then even after that, it's a solo mission, trying to push through the top banana smoke. You've then got Cello that does the exact same thing, cutting the rotation out towards brackets. And that was a gimmicky round. That certainly wasn't clean CS from Imperial.
They do get away with the round regardless, and 9Z will be forced to play with a much less cleaner buy. And M4 for Lucan. MP9s and pistols on the other 4. Really not the best of setups. At least the utility is doing consistently well. Damage on Vinny and Try without even taking contact still.
Even for Lucan, with how well he's played so far throughout this series, he's got to be hungry to get back towards a Pro League, because he played at Season 10 and Season 12 with Sharks, and then we haven't seen him since then. That's a long time period to go on a drought without qualifying.
promised land in this case. Seconds for Imperial now. A-site is again going to be that target, but look how many players are there to receive. Clearing the M4 of Luke, and Imperial don't know the trap they're running into. About to get sprung quick.
This gamble stack looks promising, especially with the players not over-peaking. They are all tucking right now.
So Jar first in, SOP gets no way in the apartments, attention drawn right up there. Player at pit, no need to strike, player on site, does do so with Luke in support. 4v2, Mac 10 comes in, can't do much, tries no scope. Gonna be a 1 second pick of the SMG, but it's a steal well and true for 9Z.
Just a situation where it's a complete gamble. It's an unknown that you're running into, low time on the clock. No one is given a jiggle anywhere. They're all tucking out from mini pit, out on the apartments. Hasso Peak has been just quite annoying in the apartments right now. Feels like every single time he goes for one of those wider swings or one of those more advanced duels, he's just winning it, whether it be an MP9 or even a 5.7. And for Imperial, I mean, that was the ticket to not only pushing on, but being able to generate a bit of a round streak, and instead they've lost it to the anti-force buy.
Z. Back in control of this, then extend it to a 5-3 and all. As much out of this fast half as possible. Again, you're on your opponent's map pick and you're down by one in the series. Put the harp against Imperial. Impressive orb sequence from Martinez. On Max in support to ensure that the Orpa stays alive. USP that picks up the Quadra. Anti-eco frags though, Imperial. Not losing much in the round. They're saving their cash to try their hand another buy. It's still going to look weaker though. You're already seeing Khalil's to get more utility out.
Yeah, well done to Martinez. Definitely a player that was under the guidance of Alex quite nicely on that Movistar Riders organization. Played at Pro League season 16, 17, and 18 and performed very well on LAN. Made a statement of what he could do against Tier 1 opposition. And kind of got his name out there as a player that could go on and do further things than what that team could. Ended up going over towards 9Z and played at season 20. Now in season 22 in the qualifier, they've got to try and utilize him to make a run. I mean, never easy when you're a map down, especially when you're going into an opposition map pick that's looked quite comfortable in the recent few officials. But at the moment, 5-3, wouldn't say that either team's been able to stretch out too much here, but with looking at the economy of at least being around the 3K marker in reserve, and this has got to be for 9Z an opportunity to go 7-3 up right here and right now.
Pressure of Hasso Peak can get punished by the players on the pass. No, back to turn. No way, has no idea. The smoke is in the way for Hasso Peak. Oh, I think he just barely missed his mark. I don't know where he got the information from, but no way. Lucky to be alive right now. And he still gives himself up to Hasso Peak. Not expecting him to still be there at underpass. Advantage 9Z.
And now, this is where the T side needs to put pressure on towards brackets. They can't draw all of their attention and their time to try and re-clear this area. It's going to take so long because you don't know where he's gone to. The timing looks good. They have seen him at least.
And he still gets the kill on Vinny. Mac 10 from range does at least take back that casualty, but they've lost so much time, so much map control, and of course, the 2-for-1 trade there for Imperial. 9Z. One's currently in control. On Martinez's AWP as well at the ready. The top fragger in server right now for his squad, ready to receive the entire T-side forces. Cello boosted up, and Martinez is not ready for that.
And now the CTs can start coming in en masse, but look at the util. There's nothing for them. A single flashbang to get them through that CT smoke. This is not going to be an easy retake by any stretch, and tries overextended to cut the rotation against Max.
Man advantage shifts the way of the Imperial side. 9Z quickly throwing the towel on this round. They've got other opportunities to make the half advantage happen, but this one seems like it's a little bit too far gone. A 2v3 retake, not going to happen. Imperial to 4.
And that's a death slamming moment if you're Hasso Peak. Yeah, you've been set up in that round with the util, but you have legitimately gone down brackets into second mid. You've toyed for time. You've got yourself a multi-frag, and your team's just let you down. You have not been able to close after what is a very unique circumstance. And I always get the feeling, especially in an upper bracket semi, when you're a map down, those mistakes are going to cost you best of threes. Those rounds where it should have been the closure, it should have been 7-3 up, it's now been answered. We saw how even Imperial, I would say, leveled up. They had an okay first half of Nuke, but as we went deeper into the game, they showed their quality, and I expect the same thing to reoccur here. Once they get into that second half, when they get on that CT side, you do expect a cleaner performance from them.
Imperial for now is trying to see if they can bring back as much of the T side as they can. 9Z. No weapons set, the AK in for Adam S. No warps for them. Imperial have one for try. Way starts clearing out. All the attention is really in brackets here for them. No way. When does he start making a way in, or does he even do so at all?
It's all about the util timing. Martinez trying to turn away from the util. Now, Banana's being contested by one. They've got an anti-flash out there towards the top of Porch. Adam S has just about seen the AWP on the contact. Now they start swinging it into the open, and it's an absolute shutdown. This is a great holdout in brackets.
3K from Adam S. Support the third man against Martinez. And you're right, it is a shutdown kind of round for 6-4 on the board. 9Z will have minimums. Imperial probably going to lose the half from this position right here because there's just not enough cash in the bank.
They shouldn't force buy it. Even though that try is double eco, they should look at the situation with not dropping much out there in the last round. Just Glock it. Just try and get yourself the best buy possible for round 12.
Six to 4 on the board. Looking at 7-4 at the very least. Shenanigans aren't expected in a round like this. Imperial will still try to flash their way in towards the A bomb side. One sent over by Vinny to get him in the brackets. Quickly in towards, well, I'm going to say in towards long, throw it down and readjust. Go towards short. Martinez missing a shot with the AWP. Hasso Peak has his back. Adam S, similar story of the crossfire with the AK. Backup's also on the way in. Martinez at a slightly closer angle will deal with SHR. They do find one trade back on the T-side basis, but lining up for Hasso Peak takes a triple. Quadra in the round in general. And there's the half for 9Z. One more round in the half for Imperial to try and make it another 7-5 half overall.
And the flair that Martinez has brought out in the first half, it's a shame because T-side AWPing is going to be very difficult for him, and he'll probably be rifling with the AK quite a lot. But he's had some tidy sequences. He has given himself a good likelihood of always getting impactful kills and falling back, especially in the gun rounds. And that's what Try needs to get into a similar conversation when we swap the halves, sort of have that same level of flair.
Imperial. Okay, Hasso Peak in his M4 is trying to lean down and look down onto the second, or the mid and second mid angles here from the balcony.
Well, they know that it's got to be heavy Banana. If he's seeing nothing second mid and nothing crossing out to brackets, they can keep 3 on B right now.
Flash in against Max, he goes down. Going to the cross as Vinny leans forward alongside SHR to take down Hasso Peak. And one man stands in the back of the bomb site. Adam S needs a hero-like moment. Vinny doesn't check him all the way. He's back on 1, 2, not quite the third. A very difficult retake for Martinez now, who has a kit at least, but really needs to find an automatic weapon. There's just none around him. Imperial Looks set for their fifth, and indeed it will be another 7-5 half of the half, it seems.
Well, it's a shame there for 9Z. I mean, that's a perfect setup. 3 on B, but just caught by the util, and even Martinez, he's getting nothing. No one's even over-peeking towards CT.
The Eagles pulled out. Making noise now, just got no time. They peek, they deal with him, and there it is, locked in. Still 2 to the good for 9Z, though.
Angels who always threw something away. Could I be desperate, crazy, or is it that they never see things my way? As he turns it, nice headshot.
9Z have control, but will they keep that control? Imperial from the deficit in the last map still 1 out nuke, and they move to their CT side. Things may well pick up, Dweck.
They certainly got tested quite a bit out there in the first half. It was not easy. When we think it was a 3-3 score, you won't be too satisfied with 5 in the end. No way. Just trying to see if you can spot for some information. Jump out there towards first mid and towards second. You've got 3 on B with a little flash setup that could be retaking out there towards car. Not really too much other than just spotting for info, though.
No surprises, the 9Z are going to try and slow things down here on their T side. Vinny. First port of call on this defensive line, flashed in. But seeing nothing of 9Z. They'll know that flash and peek came forward. Try is going to be the main issue for them, though. Headshot onto Hasso Peak. First blood is drawn.
They might try and rotate brackets, knowing that you've started to rotate players over quite heavily. You've got a rotator in from Spawn, you've got a long player from Cello. It's all about contact. Now, Vinny's been able to only see one. He still didn't spot that bomb. It brings SHR over, and now even Cello's going to start thinking about moving. Oh, watch out for this resmoke, because this is going to go down.
Cello's ready. Martinez holding.
Ooh.
Oh, gap in that smoke. It does clear up soon enough, but 9Z have been stalled out, unable to exploit that gap. And moving back in towards mid, where Try seeing them coming. Our force rotation back from 2 more CT players, but it's still got 2 on the central side defensive. 9Z are running out of time. Can't afford to let that time hit 0. Cash will be a concern. The round itself needs to go their way in. All has still got Try and No Way on the resistance defensive. Now third man showing up for SHR. They only got 1 kill out of it though. Try's been overwhelmed. 5 seconds. They just get the bomb down. No. Cello going to try and force the issue. I think he got a kill. Yes, he did. He got the right man at the right time. And that is going to cripple 9Z in more ways than one.
Well, fair play to the protocol. Imperial know, because there's so little time left on the clock, we just need to send bodies in. It doesn't matter how gimmicky it gets or how chaotic it is. As long as we get the Plata, we win the round. And you can just see the rotators and B, mate, they're just sending it. They are just running through that moto smoke. And Cello just about gets the job done. And 9Z don't even go for the tack. I think we saw that out in the first map, but I was surprised in some of the moments that tap pauses weren't being called.
Well, 9Z running into the meat grinder now with Vinny and SHR.
Oh boy.
Getting cash out for the MP9, simple kills in the M4. That was a force buy from 9Z. Didn't have a choice with a couple players being on hundreds of dollars to that lack of loss bonus. Now harsh eco to ensue as Imperial go up to evens.
And think about what this would mean for Try, because the idea that he played in an ESL Pro League season with 9Z in season 18, and then did it with Imperial in season 20, in 22, you can kind of see the goal. I mean, you've won Nuke already. You've been able to get into a position where, look, you can at least try and force it into the decider. Right now, I mean, how much are we even expecting on this eco, Jay? I mean, I'm not expecting much. There's a few upgrades. Nah. There's not going to be much for me.
I mean, you shouldn't be expecting anything in general because of the fact there's an eco. I say that, and as you managed to get a couple of kills out of this one, I thought Try was going to be the latest victim, but SMG still strikes on Hasso, peaked with 3 on 3. MP9s to play with here for the T side, and M4 as well for Max. Lacking in the Kevlar department though, so aim punch might become a factor. B may well be the target, and No Way and Cello are reading that. Smoke comes down, so forced to use some utility to counteract it. And Incendiary extinguished quick though.
Boost up towards a flower pot. Aggro played through the smoke. It's being watched. Oh, look, that's a gimmick there from Max. It might be one of those that you come back to haunt you. But at the same time, I feel as if because of the limited weaponry that you've got, you need to try and outsmart your opposition. And if you could somehow squeeze your way through that smoke, there could have been something to work with. So it's unfortunate that nothing gets gained there.
Good tap from Adam S. He's to try and make another kill happen. Bomb plant can also be secured. So all in all, for an eco, 3 casualties plus a cash injection. I think you'd be happy if you're 9Z in the grand scale of things. Adam S is on for a little bit more as well. 100 HP. Flanking round. No one is accounted for it. Cello does look back at the other entrance over at the church. So the fuse can get held soon enough. They're just looking to get those main rifles back in their favor. Once they can find where those guns went. Either way, we'll be around for Imperial.
And this is for 9Z where they need to put their foot down in terms of the early competitiveness of the second half. I think that's where they lacked on Nuke quite a bit. I mean, being up 9-7 and then pretty much just being slammed, losing 6 rounds in a row, not getting towards double digits. They just couldn't hold weight. And I now look at the idea that it's a single scoreline difference. Don't let Imperial turn this streak into a 10-7 game, because at that point you start getting really desperate. You start getting really nervous that you're not going to be able to provide much in the second half.
It's a scoreline that can be achieved with a simple rifle win right here. There's no cash in reserve for 9Z. To get bomb plant bonuses to sustain more force invest. Look at Cello. So close to the smoke. Max has got util in hand. And they're both sat inside that utility, so if the smoke fades and Cello sees him, it's guaranteed at least that 1 kill. Both players do back off, though.
It's turning into a bit of an apps pop. I mean, it was aggressive util in the brackets to start off the round. You had a lot of smoke and flashes going out there towards alongside. Try is not obscured out here towards Boiler, so he can just kind of keep his eyes on both Boiler and Brackets depending on how he moves.
Nades and flashes, tries going to get forced back. Hasso peek, blind spraying. No one's seen close. Cello through the smoke, gets a kill out of it. Good pre-fire angles, good reads on roughly where they're at, but only that one kill goes his way. The AWP of Try now involved, jump face, past Boiler, gets into base, smoke's going to clear. Cello needs to get one kill out at the very least, alongside SHR support. They get Hasso peeking, Adam S. Try chimes in and gets another kill on Lucan. And that is exactly what Imperial were looking for. That is exactly what 9Z had to avoid. 4 in a row for the Imperial CT side. 9Z yet to start in the second half. And there will be another buyback here. They're desperate. They're in desperate need for a round.
Well, it tells you how much of a positive caller Vinny is. Even though it's a man advantage there, they don't sit back and play a passive crossfire. They keep searching. You've got the two riflers, HHR and Cello. They try and re-aggress out there towards Long. Tries doing the exact same thing on the short and porch side. And tactical timeout can come through from Bit. I mean, the 9Z's head coach, I mean, he coached ESL Pro League season 16, 17, and 18 with MIBR. And then, of course, was even teammates with Try back in 2020 and 2021 when he was still playing a part of the organization before moving on to the head coach role. He's got to look at things right now and come up with a solution for the in-game leader of Max of how do we deal with Try? How do we make it uncomfortable for the AWPer? Because if he keeps finding success and he keeps getting multi-frags, this game's going to get wrapped up. 13's going to be on the board for Imperial.
9Z desperately need this round to go their way. The AWPer Try, shot missed. Jump face watching for more contact. He doesn't connect it. Takes a dink back instead. 9Z got a lot more aggression out towards Banana where Max is flashed in by Luke and going to kill an SHR. Start things off with first blood for 9Z.
But Imperial have an overly aggressive play with the AWP and out there towards top Banana too. So maybe that's something after the tactical that they can start to realign themselves from a T-side perspective is how to deal with some of these aggressive moves. You've got yourself a potential gamble stack that might come in. I mean, Vinny's got a little bit more util that he can put down to suppress, but across the board, they might just leave 3 players A, and if it ends up being a B take, then so be it, you end up saving.
Are making their moves. Cello, HE's at the ready. Down against the T-side line or fall back. Tries AWP. Doesn't hit his shot. Max gets the kill win. Down to 3 men. Imperial have 2 on the side defense. Cello does well to get the first. No more than that. Norway's going to get completely overwhelmed. And Vinny, all he can do is save. 9Z needed this round, and well, he just got it.
And right there, as soon as the AWPer falls, you know it's going to be an easy site take. There's only so much that 2 riflers can do when they're trying to hold a crossfire like that. It's difficult for No Way because when you get stuck out there towards the mini-pit position, you've got yourself a very small window to get the kill against the Moto player. And then after that, because of the util, it's going to be very difficult to transition on the players dropping down from the apartments and then swinging you on the short side towards a car. Cello gets 1, No Way gets nothing. And there's a response after the tactical, so you can say that that was used at a very good point in the second half.
Coming together at the right moment. Imperial will still post up some resistance though. 9Z are not out of the woods. They've given themselves some breathing room at least. Money will start to build. They avoid that deathly 11-7 scoreline that we were talking about. Imperial could still hit double digits first though. The buy back in, tries on an AWP, then falls for everybody else. HE's down beyond that smoke. Doesn't quite land deep enough to clear out vision. Meanwhile over at Banana, Vinny's going to face a lot of aggression from the 9Z side. Lucan's really gearing up here. A bit of a laggard game, but that's another entry frag for him.
It's a crazy attempt. There's no teammate in sight. There's no flashbang. That's just a raw confidence play. And for Imperial, it's now 2 rounds in a row in which they've lost an opener quite early towards top banana. They're going to rotate players in. They should try and retake top banana, and that's what's happening with the util. SHR's getting further aggressive.
Dash in with the AWP support. Bait out the AWP shot, try missing a flick. SHR's core putting utility down, so now he's dead. Tries in a bit of an awkward spot. Can't land that flick, caught flash blinded, overwhelmed by a Glock alone. Cello and No Way separated from each other in this 2-on-5. Cello, God, you need a Superman round, and he's just not going to get it. Lucan will be an easy enough frag. It's a shot to the back of the head with timing correct, but now the T's going to adjust against him. Jump face up, Adam S closes in, giving him 1v1 fights. Hashtag Peak wins one of them, and that's all you need.
Well, right there, you just have a moment where you're just not quite getting the connections when you go aggressive. I think it's the right play when you're down by a man. They go in dry, they bait the AWPer, but SHR, he gets caught trying to transition up onto the sandbags. You know that Tri needs at least 1, maybe 2 kills with the AWP, and he gets nothing. Imperial are struggling to close this game out. You think about where the scoreline was, of being down 4-7. They then give themselves a little bit of a streak. They get 5 rounds in a row. It's now been answered back by 2. And Vinny's got cash and No Way's got cash. But if you're the 9Z boys, you're thinking this is on. We're starting to generate quite a bit of impact from Lucan.
Yeah, it's game on at this point. 9-all.
I wouldn't mind a half here. Even a hero, I could kind of get behind. Try and bring some punch into this buy.
Bit of utility for Vinny, SMG for Tri, upgrade pistols, so yeah, half buy around the save them 4. Damage and steal, that's what you're looking for Imperial. Round 19. So he's again a little bit of aggression moving up towards banana for 9Z, but no resistance. Imperial's not going to get passive on their lines here. Recognizing that the Angels are just not going their ways. Maybe it's best to play a bit more of a passive approach.
Now, No Way is in a 1-for-done position. Because he's so aggressive out on the porch, he just needs to keep fighting until he falls.
Utility to come his way. Molotov sent down towards squad. Sees 2. They almost line up for him. He just gets the 1-for-1. Tri moves closer though. Players right around this corner of the smoke. Men not moving closer. He'll upgrade to that AK. The P50 Cello. The flank is on. Adam S is going down. Another rifle to play with. They try and escape the ire. A resmoke comes up. Players close, and Cello gets a ton of damage. Doesn't get a kill for it. Lucan takes 2 back. It's a 2v2 with the A site being opened up by the man. But a low HP, this 5-7, gonna kill at close range. He's smoked off.
Yeah, that's sloppy there from the CTs. Timing was good as they come out through the smoke, and now they've seen the last player, Martinez, is low.
Going for a bit more cover, but he lands on SHR. Vinny from range will get his headshot instead, and that's the half by steal that gets Imperial back in the lead.
Well, thank goodness Vinny can clutch, because that was poor from Imperial. Let's just take a moment to reflect on that round. So they've cleared out Boiler, they've upgraded to an AK. Resmoke is just about clearing out there in the brackets. I don't mind the rotation away making noise. I think that's fine there from Tri. But you can't have your back turned, can you? You've got to have your weapon drawn just in case. And right there, they got caught napping. That was Lucan stepping up to the plate of 2 players that were not expecting aggressive moves through that bracket smoke and was nearly a recovery. That would have probably been a tilting round. That probably would have lost Imperial Inferno. With how this streak is going, even though it's only a lightened buy, I think mentally that would have checked them out. Vinny's given them a lifeline. He's given them some hope at the end there at the clutch.
Imperial getting a boost from what was their bottom fragger at the moment it happened. But he now actually out fragging even No Way at 7 and 8. CT side. Need that one last little push towards the end. They're starting to do damage towards 9Z early. Utility down on Lukin, 33 points of health, max to 76. Smokes on at the retaking nades. The counter HEs and the T side will try and block any aggression from Imperial, but they're just going to respect those smokes and fall back.
Well, Imperial have realized that we've been caught too many times fighting towards the sandbags and top banana within the first 20 seconds of the round. So let's just use our anti-rush util of the incendiaries, use our retaking util, and then take the space back. And that just means that Lucan is going to be disrupted. Martinez should be able to win this AWP fight against Try, and indeed he does.
Even though you did the early damage, you're still not able to find that opening kill. Martinez was ready. His teammates will start to move. You've got Vinny and SHR as the two defenders, one on site, one off site. AUG and M4.
Now the worry here with the big pit, mini pit setup is that there could be a brackets walk into CT. So even though you can stall for time, in the back of their minds, the opportunity of a wraparound could be here.
That smoke is well placed. Vinny's also got an incendiary. Might put that down as soon as the execution starts coming in. SHR, poke the wall, play anti-flash. AUG sprays manically, does some damage. SHR comes up with 1, 2, and 3. That's a hero-like play with Vinny providing support from the side. Martinez is all alone. Close quarters from one man. He lands that no-scope, but he's lost too much and time is low. 10 seconds to it. He can't grab the bomb. He can't plant it. He can't get all 3 of these kills in time. And Imperial will look to hunt him down after time. The flashes are in. They're closing in the pincers. And Martinez just defends himself, just stays alive.
Well, we've now seen 2 rounds in 2 maps in which there has been raw, legitimate X Factor from SHR. I remember that round on Nuke where Vinny, out there in the main position, got a couple of kills, and then SHR was down there in the vent, and he ended up getting 3. Dropped Martinez, dropped the bomb, caused some real panic. We've now just seen what he's been able to do there on B. That was a difficult round. You don't have a lot of space. You're working around the util, and the spray control is excellent for the amount of damage he was able to provide.
The man who was given trial by fire in the Tier 1 atmosphere clearly hardened his metal. He shows up big time for the Imperial side. It's Trider strikes first this time for them, however. 9Z down on Martinez. The AWP battle going well for the CT side. Cello ready to see them popping out of Boiler and mid brackets.
Just consider they've had to win a 1v1 clutch and then an SHR 3K on B. These have not been clean rounds by Imperial by any stretch, but they've got themselves in a driving position, a winning position.
A minute to play with. 9Z are starting to walk. Smoke's in the way as SHR tucks behind it. Hasso Peak checking out the cubby corner. Smoke towards the archers as well. Vinny's going to get blocked off. Molotov sent towards SHR position. Oh, they burst fiber. Hasso Peak thinking it was all just a search for info. Didn't go for the full-blown spray. Couldn't get the kill for it. Finally, the man's been traded, but they're still down by a player with 2, 3 players to deal with on the side defensive. No way. Part of the crossfire with Cello. Vinny also gets involved. All 3 men get their picks as a teammates from Imperial that sets them up on map and match points.
And we need to take a moment to reflect on the disappointing second halves that 9Z have had. They really didn't show much from that 9-7 lead out on Nuke. We've now gone over to Inferno, and yeah, sample size is small, but they've only won 2 T rounds. It doesn't matter about the context on who's winning clutches and who's making X Factor. You just have to look at the score and say that 9Z have competed in the first halves, but let themselves down in the second.
Right, DC in the early portions of this round, so we'll get a restart going before we go any further. Hell of a great timing there from the 9Z side to break momentum on Imperial, because they've really, really spoiled up their threat here in this game. I am expecting him to try and take it from here. 9Z fought so well to try and bring this map back, to try and return some favoritism, but Imperial, one of our bracket favorites, are just showing exactly why they are that from the word go in the first map. And here in the second, it's been a little bit of a closer affair, yes. but they are still on for the win.
This is Imperial's first chance to be able to get a 2-0. They went 2-1 versus Elevate, 2-1 versus the Red Canids. Could be a 2-0 against 9Z. Try setting up some early util for his rifler to put some anti-rush util down from mid. Max doesn't get much of an opportunity. Flash around the corner, Banana being taken really slow. And even Lucan, he's been one of the guys that's given them chances when it comes to opening picks towards Banana. You're working with a Galil in round 22.
HE placement perfect in apps, and the smoke timing even better for Try. He tries to fight, and Hasso Peak loses his life. 4 more kills to go from Imperial, and they might start feeding themselves into this long cubby corner player. Tries leaning in with the AWP. He's found the bomb carrier. Wallbang headshot to Martinez. Smoke coming out for Cello. Body blocked by Max. They know there's a player close. Animes will fight on Try and win one back. But they're still down a man.
Now, this is where No Way just needs to stall. He needs to stay alive for as long as possible because he's not getting much help from the long players with that resmoke down. Now, even Vinny's playing very defensively on B. He knows that he's got to sit back and they're going to retake brackets. The timing is going to be good because it's not going to be a kill, but it's going to tell them that there's nothing here. And that's when you can start getting players down towards bottom Banana and getting them ready against the B hit.
Problem is the B hit could come in real thick and fast, and it could be all Vinny, all alone for the defensive. Smoke start coming in. He's got no counter util. They're going to walk contact it. Vinny's going to wait for as long as he feasibly can. Check for Lucan. Now the Shire. Good burst. Headshot gain. Another backstabbing closing on Animes. Max has got no chance. Dealt with by Vinny. Appropriate that he, the impact man of the late game, delivers the final killing blow. 13-9, 2-0 from Imperial. They move forward to the upper bracket finals. Second chance is available for 9Z, but it's lower bracket elimination from here.
Imperial have now won 12 out of their past 14